Friday morning, weekly weigh-in time. Just got off the scale. Had a really good week. I was very disappointed with my results last week. And just really tightening the screws on a few things. I was very disappointed with all of the time and effort I put in. It was more so diet than anything, which is the hardest part, and staying away from the junk. But, it made me kind of evaluate what I was doing, and I feel like there are some things at the margins that I needed to tighten up on. And one of the things I wanted to call out is I've been struggling getting back on my fasting protocol. So one of the things I was doing, I've discovered my new job has a lot of snacks and stuff. They've got this stuff called Poppy, and I started drinking it, and you can see it's like super low calories, super low sugar, 25 calories. It's got, what is it, 5 grams of sugar, where a regular can of ginger ale has like 35, and like Coca-Cola has like a lot more than that. I have been drinking a couple of those during my fasting periods because the cravings were so bad. I actually like broke my fast a few times, and so I was doing that to kind of bridge the gap. I wasn't drinking a ton of them during my fasting days, but if I was doing a 24-hour fast and I ate at noon, I may have like 2 or 3 of those in the afternoon and like 1 or 2 in the morning, which is breaking the whole point of a fast because I'm spiking my insulin, and I'm saying to myself comparatively, the can has 25 calories. One of the flavors has like 15. The most I've seen is like 30, and some of them have like 2 grams of sugar. So I'm like, it's really low sugar. Um, and then so I would have like 2 or 3 during the afternoon on my fasting days, and maybe one in the morning, like before 12 noon, to just make it to noon, because my cravings were so strong. I started eating really poorly in January and February, and getting back on my fasting protocol was different. So I cut that out this week completely. But on my fed days, I was probably drinking those like I was drinking diet soda, which is why I got off of diet soda. I would still drink my gallon of water, but when I was drinking diet soda, I'd have like anywhere from 4 to 8 diet sodas a day. And I have not had one since February of last year. And I haven't had a cola since July of last. Well, that's not true. Over Christmas break, on Christmas, on Christmas Day and the day after, I think I had 2 colas, and I think I had earlier this year I went to Nando's and I had a Diet Cola. I've lost the taste for it. I don't like the way it tastes anymore, which is crazy to me considering I had an addiction for years. I could not stop drinking Coca-Cola and Diet Coke and Coke Zero. And I drank it, and I was like, don't do it because you're going to crave it. I did not like the way it tastes, but I guess, I don't know, with the caffeine, I don't know what it is. I used to have such strong cravings, and it tasted disgusting to me, which is a good thing. I have no desire to drink Coca-Cola ever again. That did used to help me with my fast, and I will admit that in 2021, I used to down Coke Zeros all the time, and I got to the lowest I have been, which is a 233. And I don't want to keep harping on that. I'm really trying to tune out the past and focus on. But just noting that this week, none of that. Noon meant 12 noon. Very clean. The only cheat meal I had, I said it on my weekly weigh-in last week. I had Jersey Mike's and some chips, and I had Poppy soda for dinner. But I've been really good even on my fed days. I'm having like 1 or 2 cans at lunch and 1 or 2 at dinner, and maybe 1 or 2 with a snack in the afternoon. But I was drinking those all day, every day, like I was drinking diet soda. I was probably drinking, and in my mind, I'm like, 8 of those is 200 calories. That's less than 1 can of ginger ale. So, that's what my mind was thinking. But just really focusing on the water, eating clean. My job has this whole wall of just snacks that it's like overflowing with processed stuff. And I stayed away from it. I've been buying my fruit from Whole Foods and having that. I got to get back into the mode of eating oatmeal. But just to say, there's definitely some things I tightened up at the margins. Got in 3 runs this week. I did lift. I did get through all of my lifting sessions last week. I was not able to lift during the week. It's just been incredibly busy. As I said, one day I didn't run, but I made up my run this morning. And I kind of say, oh, I'm cheating because I'm running before my weigh-in, but I want to stick to 3 to 4 runs a week. And I just do it first thing when I wake up. Maybe I should just weigh in before I do that, but I don't know. I'm not gonna beat myself up over it. So I did run, so my weight's gonna be artificially low, but this is the cleanest week I've probably had this year. Like I mentioned, the one cheat meal, but very, very strong week. I'm very proud of what I've done. Whether this is a good number or not doesn't matter to me. Hopefully I didn't go up, but I'd imagine that I'm gonna see 2-3 pounds come off. I had a great week. I was very disciplined this week. Either way, I feel like even if I'm flat, which would be a disappointment, if I replicate this week for the next 4 weeks, I'm gonna take some serious chunks of weight off. But let's see where I am. Let's go into my Garmin app. There's my run and then my jump rope. I've been jumping rope after I run. Yeah, there you go. 276. Yeah, I figured this was going to be a really strong week. I was very disciplined this week. Very, very good results. I'm very happy with that. 276. And just to last Friday where I was for comparison. 280. So down 4 pounds. Very, very good week. So really strong week. One thing that's on my mind is just the consistency. Like, don't have a good week and then say, oh, I could relax and then go out and pig out. I'm going to have 1 to 2 cheat meals this week. We'll see. It's going to be beautiful this week. I'm not going to have a cheat meal today, but I know, my wife is having a little get together tomorrow. Her birthday was on Wednesday and we're going to barbecue. So I'm just going to be realistic about that. And then I want to take my family to see the Orioles game. It's going to be 80 Saturday and Sunday this week. So, we'll see what I eat. But outside of that, I'm going to stay disciplined. I am watching the draft at a sports bar with my buddies next Thursday. It's like, these are the things that come up. So it's like, I don't know. I need to come up with a plan, and maybe next week, maybe at the barbecue I just eat steak because it's at our house. I can control what I eat. I don't want to follow. This is what happens in the social stuff, because if this stuff wasn't happening, like I didn't do anything special last week. I went and watched a movie with a friend, and we were supposed to go out to dinner, but he had to back out after the movie. That's why I ended up eating Jersey Mike's. Even then, I knew what restaurant we were going to go to. I was going to have a steak. And then my wife was like, I'm like, well, why don't we go to the same restaurant? She's like, I don't feel like leaving the house. So I was out after the movie. I went to Jersey Mike's and just came home and had a hero. Didn't torpedo the week, but, I'm watching this series on YouTube. It's the second season of it. There's this guy, D Herbs, and he has, what's it called? I forget what it's, the I Can Challenge. And he had Big Ja on in the first season. And Big Ja moved into his house for 6 months. He started there at 435 pounds, and he got into the 260s in 6 months. And it's just like, when you lock in and you just focus and do the work, it just goes a lot faster. And so that's my mindset. I'm really thinking about my birthday. I really would like to lose, another 26 pounds. That's my stretch goal. 27. I want to get to 249. I haven't been in the 240s since 2022. I was 250 on the dot 2 years ago at this time, 2023, like April, May, when I was training for that marathon that I didn't get to run. Just lock in and do the work, man. And there's a thought that do stuff that's sustainable and isn't making me feel restricted, or I feel miserable and I'm gonna binge. I don't know. These are life or death situations here. If I stay 280, it's gonna take years off my life versus being 220. So it's like, How serious am I about that? And that's what I keep asking myself. And they just released the third episode of the I Can Challenge 2 days ago on Wednesday. I watched it last night when I came home. And this dude, Ryan Davis, one of my favorite comedians. It's crazy that he's on the show. I love him as a comedian. Every time he's in the DMV area, I go see him. He lost 26 pounds in the first 3 weeks by just locking in. And so you have different schools of thought. One of my boys, my brother, Mally Mal, Chocolate Soul Brother #1, he told me, man, just lock in, do the work, get it over with, and then you can relax. He's like, it's a lot easier to maintain than it is to change. He's like, when you see the results, and so, you have people that have that school of thought, and then other people say, if you do something that's unsustainable and just say, I'm going to jump to perfection, you're setting yourself up for failure. I don't know. I just know I want to make consistent progress, and I really have my eye towards my birthday, and it's hard to believe because even a few years ago when I had gotten really fit, and I'm really trying to make it a point to stay, for 10 years I kept talking about, in 2012, 2013, I was 250 when I was 293, 300, 320, 330. I just want to put the past in the past and focus on the time. But I just say that to say, I still have doubts in my head because when I got under 240, it felt impossible to get weight off. I literally, the week I got to 233, I literally had one meal a day for 5 out of 6 days. It was impossible to get weight off. And so I keep saying 220, that feels insurmountable. I'm very confident I could get to 250, 245, that 240 to 250. I could eat and maintain, and I felt great. I felt much lighter. Like as I'm leaning forward, I feel my stomach at 276. My stomach was really flat, but I was still like in the high 20s in body fat. I don't know. I just say all that to say my mind is like, can I really get to 220? But all I could do right now is focus in on July 25th. I want to be 249. That is my ultimate goal. My stretch goal is to make it to 259 and get back into the 250s. And I just need to keep working at it. But good work this week. Let's follow it up with another strong week. I don't want to have a setback. It's on me to decide. Yeah, I'm watching the draft with my boys. Am I going to enjoy the draft more if I pig out? Not necessarily. We're just going to talk shit, talk about they should do this, they should do that. Eating cheeseburgers, eating wings, does that make it any more fun? No. So, this is going to be the truth teller. I'm not going to wait until next Saturday because I'm going to New York for a business trip next week. I occasionally have to go up there, and I'm watching the draft with my cousin Grease and my boy Billy Ho. So it's on me. This is going to be the truth serum. If I pig out and I sit down there, if I have a disciplined week, but then it's like I let go at every point. Like I eat a bunch of junk tomorrow at my wife's barbecue. Sunday I throw down 8 hot dogs, and then I'm clean Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday, I have a fucking smorgasbord of food watching the draft. I could say I was disciplined all I want, but the reality is it doesn't take much to throw off a week. So it's on me. Next Saturday, I'm going to be sitting here weighing in, and we'll see what the results are. On a Friday for Reed Fitness, signing.